In this video, which is part 3 of a series about the present perfect, we will be talking about its brother or its cousin, and that's the present perfect continuous. And we will be juxtaposing the two tenses and seeing how different they are and which one of them should be used when. So the present perfect continuous, just like any other continuous tense, can be also called progressive. So we can call it the present perfect continuous or the present perfect progressive, because any continuous tense can also be called a progressive tense. And also, another common feature of continuous tenses is the fact that we have to add ing to the verb. So if you are dealing with any continuous tense, being the past continuous, the present perfect continuous, the future continuous, since the tense is continuous, you must add ing to the verb. So in the present perfect continuous, in order to make the verb into that tense, we use has or have plus been, that's the past participle of the verb be, been. In American English, they pronounce it been, and the spelling of been is B-E-E-N or B-E-E-N. So has or have plus been plus the ing form of the verb. Right, as opposed to the present perfect, which is has or have plus the past participle of the verb, which is form number 3 of the verb. Right. So what is the usage of the present perfect continuous tense? We use this tense to talk about an action that started in the past and either recently stopped or just stopped or is still going on. So we have 3 cases here in which we can use the present perfect continuous tense. We use it to refer to an action that started in the past, and maybe that action has just stopped or has recently stopped just a short time ago, or is still continuous, is still going on. Let's have some examples. I can say, it has been raining for 2 hours. It has been raining. That's the present perfect continuous. It has been raining for 2 hours. This means that the action started in the past 2 hours ago and continues until now. The action hasn't stopped yet. It's still raining. Another example. Paul has been working very hard recently. Paul has been working very hard recently. This is a sentence in the present perfect continuous. Paul has been working. So this means that Paul started working hard in the past and he is still working hard until now. Another example. Speaker A says, "You're out of breath." You're out of breath, which means that you cannot catch your breath normally. You're doing this. That's you're out of breath, right? So speaker 2 responds by saying, "Yeah, I have been running." Apparently, speaker 2 isn't running now, but the action has just stopped, or the action has recently stopped, and that's why speaker 2 is still out of breath. So he answers, or he responds by saying, "Yeah, I've been running. Yeah, I have been running." And that's the present perfect progressive. Have been plus verb ing. The key words of the present perfect continuous are also used with the present perfect simple. We're talking here mainly about about since, for, how long, recently, so far. All of these are keywords or time expressions which are used with two tenses or with both tenses, the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. For example, I can say, I have been learning Spanish for 3 years. I have been learning Spanish for 3 years. So this means that the action of learning Spanish started 3 years ago and is continuing until now. I'm still learning Spanish. Another example. Chris hasn't been feeling well recently. Chris hasn't been feeling well recently. Recently is one of those time expressions which are used with the present perfect continuous and also with the present perfect simple. And we see the sentence in the present perfect continuous. Chris hasn't been feeling well recently. Sarah has been watching television since 4 o'clock. Sarah has been watching, which means that the sentence is in the present perfect continuous. Sarah has been watching television since 4 o'clock. So as you could see, all of these examples exhibit the usage of since, for, recently, and how long with the present perfect continuous, just the same as they are used with the present perfect simple. I can ask you, for example, how long have you been learning English? That's how long, which is one of the time expressions used with both tenses. How long have you been learning? That's present perfect continuous. Have been learning English. Right, so the key words or the time expressions are pretty similar between the two tenses, the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. So what's the main difference here? What's the distinction? What is the differentiator between the two tenses? Well, it's about the meaning or about the focus. When we use the present perfect simple, we are focused on the result. We are focused on the outcome of the action or of the activity. When we use the present perfect continuous, we are focused or we are interested in the duration of that action or the length of that action. For example, when I say, Mary has painted the ceiling. Mary has painted the ceiling. Well, this is a sentence that shows the present perfect has painted. Because we are using the present perfect, it shows that we are interested in the outcome or the result of the action, which is that the ceiling has been fully painted. But in another example, when we say, Mary has been painting the ceiling since noon or since midday. So here I'm not talking on the result or the outcome of the activity as much as I'm concerned about the duration or the length of the activity. So the example says again, Mary has been painting the ceiling since noon. So what I'm interested in or what I'm concerned about in this sentence is how long she has been painting the ceiling. And the fact of the matter is, she has been doing it since noon or since midday. So this is a key example between the two tenses. Also, there is a very important point that we need to make here in our distinction between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. The present perfect continuous is concerned about how long the action has been going on, whereas the present perfect is focused on how many times or how much time has it continued for. For example, when I say, Lisa has written 5 letters today. Lisa has written 5 letters today. I'm focused here on how many letters have been produced, how many rather than how long. So we use the present perfect simple and we say Lisa has written, which is the present perfect or the present perfect simple. Lisa has written 5 letters today. But when we use the present perfect continuous, like if we say Lisa has been writing letters for 3 hours. Lisa has been writing letters for 3 hours. This is a sentence in the present perfect continuous. She has been writing. And the sentence isn't focused on how much production she has made, how many letters she has written, as much as it's concerned about how long the activity of writing letters has been going on. And the sentence says, she or Lisa has been writing letters for 3 hours. So, to wrap up this comparison, the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous are used to talk about an action that started in the past and continues until now, or both of them are used to refer to a period of time that began in the past and continues or extends until now. The distinction lies in the focus. If you are focused on the result or the outcome of the activity, use the present perfect. If you are concerned about the duration or the length, how long the activity has been going on for, then adhere to the present perfect continuous or the present perfect progressive. And if you are interested in the number of times or how much time this action has gone for or has continued for, then you should stick to the present perfect simple. One last difference that has to be mentioned is about stative verbs. Some people call them state verbs. We have a group of verbs in English which cannot be used in any continuous tense. That's because they refer to states rather than actions. They are not dynamic verbs. They do not include a physical action rather than a mental state or a state of mind. These verbs in general, on the whole, cannot be used with any continuous tense. So, if you have one of these verbs in your sentence, and the sentence refers to an action that started in the past and continues until now, we cannot use the present perfect continuous, because the present perfect continuous is a continuous tense, and continuous tenses cannot be used to conjugate stative verbs. So, in this case, you need to stick to the present perfect simple. So, what are famous examples of these verbs? Well, I'll give you now a list of verbs which are considered to be stative verbs, and so they shouldn't be used or they cannot be used in any continuous tense. Talking about verbs like love, hate, prefer, need, want, know, realize, believe, understand. All of these are state verbs, and of course the list goes on, but these are the ones on the top of my mind right now. These are the ones I can remember. So if your verb is any of these in the sentence, and the sentence dictates that the action began in the past and continues until now, although that's a meaning that can be expressed with the present perfect continuous, you shouldn't use the present perfect continuous with these verbs, so you have to stick to the present perfect simple. For example, you say, I have known Linda for 5 years. I have known Linda for 5 years. The verb here is know, K-N-O-W. This is one of the stative verbs or the state verbs. It cannot be put in a continuous tense. It cannot have the ing suffix added to it. So although you knew Linda 5 years ago, you started knowing her 5 years ago, and you still know her until now, You cannot use the present perfect continuous for this one because the verb is know, and know is one of the stative verbs which cannot be conjugated in any continuous tense. So you cannot say, I have been knowing Linda for 5 years, or I have been knowing Linda since 2020 or 2020. You have to comply with the present perfect simple because the verb is a stative or state rather than an action or a dynamic verb. So you say, I have known Linda for 5 years, or I have known Linda since 2020 or 2020. So this was a brief demonstration or explanation of the present perfect continuous or the present perfect progressive and how to use it as opposed to its cousin, the present perfect simple. I hope it was useful. And in our next lesson, which will be the last lesson in this series about the present perfect tense, we shall be comparing the present perfect to the past simple tense because many people confuse the two tenses and mix them up. So in our next episode, we will be discussing these two tenses, the present perfect simple and the past simple tense, and see how different they are and how effectively or correctly can we use each of them. Thank you very much for your attentive listening and enjoy the rest of your day.